Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here. So it may not be something you've ever thought about, but names are a pretty big part of our lives. They're what everyone refers to us as. And if you get stuck with a bad name, then sorry, but that's usually for life. Well, that's why today we're going to be looking at 10 illegal baby names from around the world. And even one name which caused a teenager to sue his parents for $250,000. Before we get into it, why not subscribe and press the notification bell too. Coming in at number 10 we have Nutella. So I'm sure wherever you are in the world, you must love Nutella. The chocolate and hazelnut spread is a delicious and sweet treat everyone likes to enjoy. But no one likes Nutella more than the French. In France, Nutella is a big thing and you find it literally everywhere. Well, 2 years ago, a French couple decided to name their daughter Nutella. It seems no one likes Nutella more than this couple. However, one French judge clearly doesn't like Nutella, or at least not as a name. They actually rejected this name and said they could not name their child Nutella. They said it could mean the child is subject to mockery and bad remarks about their name. So the judge didn't want the kid to get picked on, so he made the parents change their name. They simply shortened the girl's name from Nutella to Ella. But I wouldn't be surprised if at home they still call her Nutella. Do you think Nutella is a fun and nice name and this judge is being a real Scrooge? Or do you think having a chocolate spread as a name isn't a good idea? Next up is... oh, you gotta be kidding me. Okay guys, I'm not going to tell you the name just yet because it's very long. But in 1982 in Sweden, someone tried to name their baby this. Listen up because I'm only going to say it once. BRF XXCCXMN PCCCLLMMNPRXVCLMN CKSSQLBB11116. Now if that's not a mouthful, I don't know what is. But why did these parents give their child such an insane name that even they wouldn't be able to remember? Well, it's simple, they were trolling the government. You see, in 1982 a law was passed to prevent non-noble families giving their children noble names. This pretty much meant that lower class people couldn't give their children high class names. Well, in protest to those restrictions, one couple decided to give their kid that name. That was his name written down, however they pronounced it Albin. Unsurprisingly, this was rejected by the courts. The parents went for plan B and submitted the name with the same pronunciation but written just as A. However, yet again, the Swedish courts rejected both names. Next up is at. So we all know that in most countries you can't put symbols in your name. China is one of those countries, but one day two parents decided to put it to the test. They tried to call their baby the at symbol, but they were rejected. I'm sure you're asking, why would you call your baby the at symbol? Were they obsessed with computers? Well, the answer is because in Chinese, the at symbol is pronounced Ai Tai. This sounds similar to the phrase meaning I love him in Chinese. The couple thought it would be a nice name for their son, as every time they said his name, they'd be saying I love you. But it seems the Chinese government didn't feel the same way and they banned the name. China's known for banning many strange things such as Google and Winnie the Pooh. Those bans I don't agree with, but calling your kid at symbol, that ban I can come around to. Next up is full stop. So this is yet another pair of parents who tried to call their kid a symbol. Everyone knows the full stop or period mark. Well, in 2013 in New Zealand, a couple tried to give their kid the name of the full stop symbol. The name would have been pronounced full stop. But the New Zealand government were not happy with this whatsoever and banned the name. That same year, they released a large list of banned names in New Zealand. But the only name on the list that someone had actually tried to call their kid was full stop. Next up is Robocop. So I'm sure we all love the Robocop movies. And some people are even super fans and get tons of Robocop merchandise. So there's fans, super fans, and then people who are straight up weird. Well, in Sonora, Mexico is two very weird parents. These two parents were big fans of Robocop, so much so that they tried to call their kid, you guessed it, Robocop. The Mexican government were not happy with this whatsoever, and it's very likely that this kid would get majorly picked on. Especially nowadays, seeing as kids don't even know what Robocop is. The Mexican government made the name Robocop illegal, and later that year they compiled a whole list of names which were illegal in Mexico. Next up is Gaylord. So I'm sure we all know the name Gaylord is very uncommon but is used. Just take Gaylord from the Meet the Parents movies. So we all know that Gaylord is a very funny name, but it is not illegal, at least not in the United States. Well, that didn't stop one teenager from being very annoyed when his parents gave him the name Gaylord. According to worldnewsdailyreport.com, a 17-year-old from Missouri sued his parents over his name. His parents called him Gaylord as a child, and because of this he got bullied and mocked a lot. Gaylord Williams, apparently grew up in the small town of Kirksville, Missouri. He said his parents Dave and Carol Williams had deliberately made his life miserable by giving him this name. Apparently he asked his parents to get his name changed twice, but they declined every time. He says his life is miserable and he can't wait until he turns 18 to change his name without his parents' consent. He filed the lawsuit for $250,000. I'm not sure what the result of it was, but do you think this kid should win the lawsuit or not? It is kind of a bad move to call your kid such an outdated name. But then again, seeing as he's 17, he only needs to wait 1 year and then he can change his name all by himself. Next up is Osama bin Laden. So if we're looking at the most evil people in history, I'm sure Osama would definitely make his way high up on that list. He was of course known as public enemy #1 in America before he was taken out a few years back. Well, shortly after the events of 9/11, a Turkish couple living in Cologne, Germany decided to name their kid Osama bin Laden. They must have agreed with what bin Laden did for some weird reason and called their kid that name. But luckily for the kid, the German government made that name illegal. They say you're not allowed to name your kid anything humiliating in Germany. And Germany also has a law preventing parents from giving their kids names which are illegal in their own countries. And in Turkey, where these people came from, the name Osama bin Laden is also illegal. Next up is Metallica. So Metallica is a rock band which many people love. But as we've already seen with Robocop and Nutella, sometimes when you love something, it needs to stop when it comes to your kid's name. Well, one Swedish couple didn't seem to understand that, and they tried to call their baby girl Metallica. For a while, this name went under the radar, but eventually tax officials saw the name and deemed it inappropriate. The Swedish couple was then made to change their baby girl's name. Next up is Sara. So you may think that Sara is a very normal name. For example, in America, the name is very popular. Well, one day, two Moroccan parents were very surprised when the Moroccan government banned their kid's name, Sara. They tried to call their baby girl Sara, but it was declined. You see, Morocco has a law where names have to fall within Moroccan identity. Because Sara spelled with an H is a Hebrew spelling, this name was banned. However, Morocco did allow them to call their kid the Arabic version without an H, which is totally fine. It's so crazy that one spelling of the name with an H is banned while the other isn't. Next up is Nirvana. So here's some more parents who were big fans of a band and decided to give that name to their own children. When it comes to countries banning names, Portugal ranks among the strictest. They have a massive 80 pages of band names. Well, one day in 2006, two parents tried to call their baby boy Nirvana. They wanted to name him after their favourite band, starring Kurt Cobain. But it didn't take long for the Portuguese government to add Nirvana onto their list of band names, and they had to change their baby's name. Check out the poll in the top right corner to vote for the name you would least likely be called on this list. If you guys want more amazing videos, then check out my second channel. There'll be a link to that on screen right now, and my face is in the video on screen. But as always, thanks for watching. Check out some more videos on screen right now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to Top 10s.